dreams into reality. With that, I would like to welcome Jeff. Back, Jeff.
I never thought that life in a deck of cards would be related. But my life has been shuffled and cut so many times, I'm beginning to see the correlation. Phase one. Love is like playing old maid, right? You go out into the world looking for a match, blindly choosing cards. You hope that you find the one person that matches so that y'all can live perfectly as the rest of the world plays on. But please don't let me be like the old maid. The one card that nobody wants, destined to live alone with no possible matches, game over. Phase two, solitaire. I've spent so much time in solitary confinement, trapped inside of my own mind, waiting for the validation of another person. But since I have learned to be alone and that I can enjoy and love myself just as much without the validation of another person to tell me that I'm worth the risk of possibly losing a one-player game. Phase three, go fish. I have people come to me and ask, hey Jeff, you got any time to waste? Are you going out tonight? And I would tell them no. Go fish. I don't have any time wasting cards in my hand. I'm throwing out all my cards and giving this life everything that I've got until I'm empty-handed. Phase four, I learn magic. I turn my negatives into a positive and make all of the toxic people in my life disappear. Phase five, blackjack. 21, the number of times life has hit me and knocked me down, but I've gotten up. 22, catch 22, life tried to hold me down and force me to believe that there is no possible way that I can make it back to my feet. But y'all, I refuse to stay down at the bottom. It is simply too overcrowded. Phase six, speed. See, not only do I have to be as smart as the next person, I also have to beat them to the spot, because even in this game of life, speed kills. Phase seven, Texas Hold'em. I'm holding on to my dreams and I will not fold. I got my goals on the table and I'm going all in. I'm betting on myself. My poker face is laser focused. I will not be distracted by the lies and the deceit of life. I'm calling his bluff. Phase eight. I'm playing spades with life as my partner against the devil and adversity. And I gotta say, y'all, I got 5 definites and 3 possibles in my hand. 5 times, devil, I'm definitely going to win. And 3 other times, there is no possible way that I will let you prevail. Phase 9, life tried to throw a wrench in my plan, but simultaneously, I threw down my wrench too and said, I declare war. Phase 10, devil, this is the last time that I willingly let you back into my life. And if I had 4 cards left, they would play out like this. Any type of negative energy you bring to me, I'm reversing it back to you. You can skip me with all of that nonsense and draw 2, just because I don't like you. And I got 1 card left and it's a draw 4, so you know what that means, right? 4 more reasons why you won't be invited back here. Oh no, don't come back out. Thank you. And the crowd goes wild, right? Yeah, okay, all right, we're gonna get there. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. Don't worry. Good evening, afternoon, whichever you prefer. It's 4 o'clock. Like you said, my name is Backpack Jeff, okay? I know what you're thinking. The same thing that everybody thinks. Why does this guy call himself Backpack Jeff? Well, I'll tell you, it's not as obvious as you think. The reason my name is Backpack Jeff is because I like to wear backpacks. That's it. It's just because I like to wear backpacks. That's all it is. No, it was obvious. It's okay. It's a joke. It's okay. I'm just trying to see where we are. Okay. I'm going to be talking to you all about a couple of things, right? I'm a poet. Anybody here like poetry? Poets. A couple of people. Some writers in here. Okay. I like to paint big pictures. I like to compare things to certain things. Like I like to do interesting things and say, you know what, life can sometimes be like a chair. But today, what I want to talk to you about is, I want to talk to you about going to the airport. Has anybody ever flown before? Anybody afraid to fly? No? Nobody's afraid to fly? Let me ask you all a question then. How many of you all will jump out of an airplane for $10 million without a parachute?
It's going to kill my life. I'm not going to get it $10 million. Wait, without a parachute?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would do it.
Why would you do it?
Because I have the skills to land perfectly to me.
Where would you land perfectly?
Well, it's not like you can't just like put one cup of water.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, you're almost right. Here's why. Because I never said the airplane was off the ground. I never once said the airplane was off the ground. You all put the airplane 30,000 feet up in the air. I just said an airplane without a parachute. It could be an airplane that's on the ground. I mean, it's probably about a 10-foot jump, but you would still get $10 million, right? Right? So if you've been to the airport, you're familiar with the experience of going to the airport. And so what's the first thing that you have to do, even before you go to an airport, or even before you start packing your clothes? What's the first thing you do, maybe your parents do, or you do with your parents? What's the first thing you got to do? You book the flight. But how do you know what flight to book? Find a place. Exactly. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to help you all with step-by-step directions on how to create your whole future. It's worked for me. It's worked for countless other individuals that I coach, that I mentor on a regular basis. I'm going to show you exactly how I did what I did today. And I'm going to let you all know some of the things that I've been able to accomplish, okay? But the first thing that I had to do was I had to pick a destination. I had to figure out where it was that I was going, okay? In life, you literally have to figure out where it is that you're going. Because if you don't, most likely you'll end up somewhere where you don't want to be. I mean, truthfully, put a captain in an airplane, don't give him somewhere to land, he'll probably just fly around until he runs out of gas, and then he'll ultimately end up landing nowhere, okay? Put a captain in a ship on a boat, most likely he will sail out into the ocean and will never ever return because he has no idea where he's going. I'll give you a better example. You all got something, in your hand, right? You want $100 right now?
Maybe.
200.
Okay.
500.
Yes.
You got, okay, pick your spoon up, ready? This is for $500, okay? I'm gonna, on a count of 3, I want you to hit the target. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Where's the target?
Right. Where's the target? How can you hit a target that I'm sorry, you didn't get the $500, I'm sorry. How can you hit the target? How can you hit a target that you don't have? How can you go to school every single day and not really understand why you're going to school? I had no idea why I was going to school. And I thought that I was going to school just to learn the subjects that I needed to learn while I was there. But what I realized was that I was actually going to school so that I can learn how to communicate with people. I can learn self-awareness. I can learn self-management. I can learn social skills. I can learn responsible decision-making. I can learn critical thinking. I can learn time management. There's so many different things that I was able to learn when I was in school, other than just English and social studies and health and math. There's so many different things. But before all of that, I had to choose a destination. So I picked a destination. And then here's what I had to do after I picked the destination, what I'm going to encourage you to do. Raise your hand if you have a mentor. Somebody to teach you some stuff, that can teach you some different things. I love it. If you don't have a mentor yet, I'm going to encourage you, get yourself a mentor. I got a mentor. You know why? Because my mentor is doing exactly what it is that I'm doing right now. He's a professional speaker. Did you know there's a such thing as a professional speaker? Yeah. People who go, oh, you know about it? Okay. Let me ask you a question. If you were to get up in front of, what grade are you in? 8th. If you were to get up in front of your 8th grade class and you were to give a 1-hour speech, how much would you expect to get paid for that 1-hour speech? $200? My goodness. Anybody else? How much would you expect to get paid for speaking for an hour? 100. Anybody else?
75.
75.
Also 200.
Also 200. Okay. Yes. 150. Okay. Some ambitious young people in here. Yes.
520.
500. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. 520. Y'all, for me, when I go to a college, it's $10,000 an hour. It's $10,000 an hour. Okay. I didn't even know this was possible, though, until I had a mentor. Your mentor can teach you certain things that sometimes you can't learn when you're in school. Here's what my mentor, here's how I learned it from my mentor. My mentor, he charges $50,000 an hour. like 10 years ago. He now charges $200,000 an hour. If you don't believe me, look up Eric Thomas. You'll find him. You'll find him. Eric Thomas. He charges $200,000 an hour to go out and speak. And then when I got my mentor, he gave me a goal. I said, I want to be just like you. I want to be the number one speaker in the world. I want to be the best at it. I want to be the best. He said, why do you want to be the best? I said, because I learned that most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they aim too low and hit. I don't want to aim low. I don't want you to aim low. I want you to have dreams so big that they scare people and they say, why would you dream that big? Who are you? Why? That's it. Eric Thomas? Yes. Why would you dream that big? Why would you think that you can do something like that? My mentor told me this. I said, okay, I want to make money and I want to do it and I want to be a speaker, okay? He said, okay, I'm going to teach you how to make money. You ready? I said, I'm ready. I'm eager to learn. Come on, E.T., what you got for me? He said, I need you to speak for 3 years for free. What? Time out. I don't see how speaking for free is going to get me to the $50,000 a year. How is speaking for free going to get me to $50,000 a year? You know what he did? He told me a story. Are you all familiar with bamboo trees?
Yeah.
Bamboo trees. You see how tall they are?
Okay.
Right? Really strong. Do you know how long it takes for one of those trees to grow?
No.
If you put a bamboo tree in the ground, right? You cut off a piece, you put a bamboo tree in the ground or a bamboo seed in the ground. You have to water it every single day. You have to nourish it every single day. It has to make sure that it gets sunlight. But for 5 years, you won't see anything come out of the ground. You won't see anything come out of the ground for 5 years. But what happens after 5 years is miraculous. In just 90 days, it grows over 90 feet tall. So the question becomes, did it grow over 90 feet in 90 days, or did it grow over 90 feet in 5 years plus 90 days?
Both.
It took the 5 years. You know why? Because it was planting itself in the ground so that it can be prepared to withstand the height at which it would grow. What he wanted me to do was for 3 years, I needed to plant myself and learn a couple of different things and go through some challenges so that I can prepare myself for how high I was going to grow. How many of you all have things that you're interested in? You're interested in robotics, you're interested in sports, you're interested in anything like that? Right? Activities, hobbies, whatever activity or hobby you're interested in, right now you're not getting paid for it, I would imagine. So what you're doing is you're planting yourself in the ground so that you can ultimately grow into the thing that you're supposed to be. And every single last one of us were meant to grow. We're meant to grow. You're not the same size that you were when you were a kid. You're not the same size that you were when you were a kid. But in order to grow into something, you got to know what you want to grow into. Y'all, I had to figure out what I wanted to grow into. Said I wanted to be a speaker, okay? I got it. So I wanted to be a speaker. He told me to speak for free. What's the next thing that you do? Well, let me ask you this. What's the first thing you do when you get to the airport? When you get to the airport, you got to do what? Parents, don't help us. What's the first thing you do when you get to the airport? Yes, talk to me. You got to check in. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. This right here is probably the most important part of everything that I'm going to say today. You got to check in with yourself. You got to check in with yourself, okay? You got to check in with yourself. When you check in, what do? You got to weigh your bags, right? Think about life this way. We all have some sort of baggage that we carry, but when you're overweight, the same way at the airport, you likely have to pay more. And y'all, there was a point in my time where I had to pay more. And I'm going to tell you what it looked like. They used to talk about my ears all the time. Oh my goodness. They used to talk about my ears all the time. Now, and they try to make me feel bad about it. But I love it. They used to talk about my hairline all the time. You see this? This didn't happen. You can laugh. It's okay. I feel confident in myself, right? I knew this was coming. You know how I knew? I saw my dad. I saw my granddad. And they both look just like this. But you know what's terrible? I got a younger brother who's got a beautiful hairline. I'm like, goodness gracious, you couldn't give me that one? Okay, you know what? Forget it, right? They would try to make fun of me, and they would try to put more stuff in my bags so that I would have to carry that stuff through life with depression, with anxiety, with disbelief, with self-doubt. They tried to make me carry all of that stuff with me throughout my life. But y'all, I'm just like the people that you see at the airport when their stuff weigh too much, they go, let me just take this out and throw this in the trash. I don't want that anymore. Let me see. How much does it weigh now? 41 pounds? Okay, how much was that, $5? Okay, let me take this out because I can buy one of these when I get there. I don't even know why I got that. And just start taking stuff. Y'all, I started taking certain stuff out of my life because I realized it wasn't worth it. One of the things that I dealt with when I was a kid, my parents, I was super clumsy when I was a kid. I mean, oh my goodness, it was like I had 2 left feet. It was like I had 2 left feet. I would just trip over anything. It could be nothing there, and I would just, what's that? I know something's wrong with the floor. Is it up? Did y'all see that? Somebody saw that, right? I used to trip over everything, and what they would do is they would say that's Jeff's child, and I'd be like, man, like I dropped it, I broke it. Look at that, look at Jeff's child. He's just as clumsy as he want to be, and it made me feel bad. I was like, I ain't Jeff's child. I was like, what you talking about? That wasn't me. I didn't do that. Even if I didn't break it, they would say, Jeff's child broke it. And so they had me feeling bad. And so I told this story, and my mom, she heard this story, and she said, son, you know we didn't mean it like that. And I said, Mom, it's not about how you meant it, it's about how you presented it. I said, Mom, it's not about how you meant it, but it's about how I took it. I felt bad being Jeff's child. So what did I do? I went out and I worked harder than all of my other siblings to become extremely successful. So that now, when they looked at me, they saw Jeff's child in a different light. Y'all ever watch Greek mythology or anything like that? You ever study that kind of stuff? Right? Zeus, Poseidon, Triton, all of those different things. Yeah. Yes. So in Greek, what they do is they say who they are, and then they say who they're the son of. So they say, my name is Achilles, son of Peleus. They say, my name is Triton, son of Poseidon. They would say, my name is Hercules, son of Zeus. And for me, I couldn't say I was Jeff, son of Jeff, because Jeff's child was clumsy, right? I didn't want to be like that, but I had to change the narrative of what it meant. And here's what I'm saying to y'all. I'm saying that sometimes we feel a certain way, but we don't have to let what other people call us become our story. We don't have to let what other people call us be our story. I got a saying that says, winners write history, losers become a part of the story. Every single last one of you all have an opportunity to write your own history and not become a part of somebody else's story. You know why? Because I guarantee they're not going to write the ending to your story the same way that you would have it written. You know why? Because me, I like nice things. Okay? I grew up single mom of 4. Okay, we didn't really have nice things when I was growing up. I had 1 pair of shoes for the whole school year. Those are your basketball shoes, your church shoes, your school shoes. Those were your nice shoes, your dress-up shoes, your prom shoes. They were your everything shoes. Those was the shoes that you got, and most likely they was all black. I had 1 pair of shoes for the whole school year. And so when I got older, I said, you know what? I want to get some, I need some more shoes. So I went out and I bought 50 pair of shoes. I have over 50 pair of shoes now. It's ridiculous. It's quite ridiculous. I have over 50 pair of shoes. But you know what I do now? I take care of those shoes, and the reason being is because I remember when I didn't have them. And I told myself, I said, once I get them, I'm going to make sure I take care of them. This kid one day came to me and said, Mr. Jeff, why are your shoes always so fresh? I said, thank you. Had them for a little while, right? But I started to dream and desire other things, right? And then what my mentor told me about carrying baggage was, he said, Jeff, I want you to do better at allowing people to help you. And I want all of you all to do well at allowing people to help you. Here's why. Here's why. Y'all believe in karma? Karma, what goes around, comes around type thing? Okay. Yes, I love good karma. I love good karma. So I try to put good karma back out into the world. And he told me this story about this young man who he was going out with this older gentleman. The older gentleman, he saw this young man doing so well. He was so smart. He said, hey, can I take you out to lunch, man? I just want to learn about you, and I just want to see what it is that you got going on, man. I just admire what you're doing so much in the community. He said, yeah, sure, I would love to. They go out to eat. They have a great conversation. At the end of the meal, the young guy, he reaches into his pocket to pull out his wallet to pay, and he puts down his credit card, and the older gentleman, he grabs him by the wrist, and he says, hold on, wait. He says, are you really going to rob me of the blessing that I would get paying for this meal by trying to pay for it for yourself? The young man looked at him and he was shocked. He said, what do you mean? He said, realize, let me ask you this. He said, I bet you like helping people, don't you? He said, yes, I love helping people. He said, and how does that make you feel? He said, it makes me feel great. I love it. He said, realize that you are robbing me of that same feeling every time you tell me no. And that story literally changed my whole entire life. Y'all, I started accepting help with grace. I started saying, offer me anything. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Because here's what I learned. If you won't receive the $1 that somebody's trying to give you, how will you receive $10? If you can't receive the $10, how will you receive the $100? How will you receive anything greater if you can't receive the little things? You can't paint a big picture without a small paintbrush because you'll miss all of the little details that make it actual artwork. Every single last one of y'all are such beautiful artwork, but you got to be willing to receive the small things, right? So, you got your destination. You got to the airport. You paid for your you did your check-in, right? What's the next thing that you do after you check your bags? Where do you go? Before you get to your gate, you got to go through something.
Security. You
got to go through security. Yes. What is it called? Somebody know? 3 letters?
Airport security.
Airport security. TSA. TSA. I don't know what that stands for. Something security administration, maybe. I don't know. Transportation security. I don't know. Regardless, you got to go through TSA, right? And here you got to do in TSA. In TSA, what do they tell you? Take your backpacks off. Make sure you take everything out. Your laptop has to go in another bag. Take your belt off. Take your shoes off. Ladies, you got to take your hair down. I had hair at one point in time. I had to take my hair down. For real, I did. I had dreads. It was real long. It was like down here. You don't have to believe me. There's picture stuff. But you got to take your hair down. You got to take your jacket off and all of these different things, right? You basically kind of got to like take off all your stuff. And here's what I learned about life. The crazy thing is that life literally works the same exact way. There's going to be some sort of challenge that is going to challenge you before you can get through the thing. You have to be challenged, okay? If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. Y'all, on June 4th, 2014, I lost my house and my job the same exact day. Oh my goodness. I was like, what is happening? It was the most beautiful thing that has ever happened to me. The scariest thing at the time, but the most beautifulest thing. That's when I grew the most during that time. And think about it this way. Here's how I know, regardless of what it is that you're trying to do, you're going to face some sort of challenge. Whether you're trying, when my daughter was learning how to skate, there was challenges associated with that. Okay, when she was learning how to ride a bike, there was challenges associated with that. When you're trying to figure out how to build the best machine, there's challenges associated with that. There's always going to be some sort of challenge. Okay, here's how I know. Have you ever been to a movie where everything worked out? No. Never been to. Have you ever watched a movie where everything worked out? Right? You never have. And here, the reason why is because it's the conflict, the stuff that happens that makes the movie exciting, y'all. It's the stuff that happens that makes the movie exciting. Think about it. You wouldn't go see a movie where the person, they went through middle school, elementary school, middle school, and high school. They got a 4.0, okay? They met their high school sweetheart. They ended up marrying their high school sweetheart after college and graduating with a 4.0 grade point average. They went on to get master's degrees and get 4.0 grade point averages in that too. They ended up having one kid. She ended up having the most beautiful, perfect birth that there ever was in the world. They had 2 kids, one boy, one girl. They ended up making it to the top of their respective industries. Let's call him, he's a doctor, she's a lawyer. They're at the best. At 55 years old, they decided they want to retire and just live their life great and fantastic and wonderful. They become grandparents at 60 years old. Their kids have great, beautiful kids. There's nothing wrong with their pregnancies. Nothing happens. They have 2 dogs, a boy dog and a girl dog. They have great puppies for them, and they have great they have a great time throughout the transition and having the small dogs. At 95 years old, they pass away together, in bed together, holding hands, and they've never gotten sick ever in their life. That'd be a boring movie. No one would want to watch that movie. We would literally be sitting there waiting for something to happen. Like, is she going to get a sniffle? Is he going to lose his hair? I don't know I need something to happen to make this movie exciting. There's going to be some challenge that you're going to be associated with in your life. It's what makes it exciting. But here's the thing. You got to always remember that you're bigger than the thing that you're going through. I had to remember I was bigger than the thing that I was going through. That happened to me on June 4th, 2014. I had to remember I was bigger than the thing that I had dealt with my first day selling insurance. Y'all, I was so excited. I had my laptop, I had my backpack at that time. I wasn't backpack Jeff, I was just regular Jeff. But I had my backpack and I was walking to this lady's house and I was gonna sit down with her and I was gonna sell her some insurance, okay, life insurance, because you need to make sure that you protect your family. I was ready to go to this woman, I was ready to meet with her. I was walking, beautiful neighborhood. Here's first challenge. I couldn't find out how to get to the neighborhood. I was like, well, you can't go that way. I said, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna park my car right here and I'm gonna walk. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, okay? I'm walking up the street, I park, I'm walking up the street. I see a house over here. Beautiful house. Someone's outside, I'll wave. Hello. Yes, I'll stop at you next if you want me to. I walk over here, somebody's washing their car, beautiful car. Oh my goodness, look at that car. Your car is beautiful, by the way. Great, thanks. I'm walking. I see a garage door open. There's a car in the garage. It looks just like every other house. And then all of a sudden, I'm dressed in my dress clothes, got on dress shoes. All of a sudden, oh my goodness, the level of fear that went through my body as a German Shepherd, full grown, starts running at me. Now I gotta make a choice. I'm gone, y'all. I'm running. I'm running so fast. I was like Sonic, and I was running like this. I was running so fast, but the dog was running fast. It was creeping on me. I could feel it. I'm like going like that. I could feel it right here. Now I'm running. Mind you, I have on dress shoes. Okay, so I'm running down the street, and I'm thinking to myself, you got to think quick. Okay, you got to think quick. I'm running down the street. There's houses here. There's cars lined up here. There's cars lined up here. I'm thinking the first thing that I got to do, I got to jump on somebody's car. If I jump on somebody's car, I'll be able to get away from the dog, and then whoever's dog this is, they'll be able to come out. Then I start thinking, well, if I get up on someone's balcony, that would probably be more safe than the car, right? Because what if it's not a big car and the dog can jump really high? So I'm looking, and I look left, and I see a balcony, and I make the choice, and I say, that's the one right there. I gotta get to the balcony. So I cut into the grass. I don't know if you've ever ran on grass in dress shoes, but it does not do well because the bottom of your dress shoes is literally this thing. There's no traction on them shoes. I did not think about that. Oh my goodness. I fell and I ate the dirt. All of this. It's like I fell in slow motion. And I knew instantly that was the end of my life. I knew instantly that was the end of my life. Oh no, Jeff Young, here lies Jeff Young, killed by a German Shepherd dog on his way to sell insurance. Luckily, somebody comes out of the garage and says, Bingy, come here. Oh. In life, there's going to be some dogs, some challenges that are going to happen, and it's okay. Because what you got to do is you got to dust yourself off, and you just got to keep going. So you all can imagine what I did that day. Dusted myself off, and I did not keep going. I went back home because I was not about to mess with that dog because I don't even know if she put it on a leash. Hey, look, here's what I'm saying to y'all. There's going to be some sort of challenges that you all have in life, and that's okay. It's supposed to be that way, okay? Then, after you go through TSA, the next thing that you do is, somebody said you got to go to your gate, okay? But let's say you don't know where your gate is. There's something that you can go to in order to help you find the gate that you're supposed to go to. So the thing, it's called an information board, and it's so great because in the information board, it helps give you direction towards where it is that you're trying to go. So when you're trying to figure out, where do I go? Do you all? How many of you all know what it is that you want to do after high school? Some sort of idea? What do you want to do? You want to go to medical school? Beautiful. You know what kind of doctor? What kind of doctor? There's like 19 different, I don't know, there's a lot of different types of doctors. Neuro or cardiac surgeon. Okay, we need to keep in contact because, as I get older, I want to make sure that I'm okay. Anybody else know what you're going to do after this? Yes, talk to me. Scientific researcher? I love it. Anybody else know what you're going to do after this? Talk to me.
Car dealer.
Car dealer, okay, I love it. Anybody else know what you're going to do after this? Okay, got it. All right, so, yes. Say it again. Doctor? Okay, you know what kind of doctor? Medical? Okay, yes. Teacher? Oh, I love it. Yes. What do you want to do?
I mean, now I might be a motivational speaker.
Now you might be a motivational speaker. Hey, listen, it's great. Yes. Chemistry, sciences. I love it. Talk to me. Entrepreneur, I love it. I'm an entrepreneur myself. Like, got to learn how to build your businesses and stuff like that. But there's some sort of information that you need in order to accomplish those things. Regardless of what it is that you want to do, somebody knows how to do what it is that you're trying to do. That's the reason why I say get yourself a mentor, okay? Then here's what happens. Once you get your gate, the thing that you got to do is you got to figure out, and in the beginning of the process, you got to figure out what type of way do you want to fly to your destination, okay? Because, as my parents know, not all airlines are made the same, okay? Not all airlines are made the same. There's a difference when I fly Spirit Airlines and when I fly Delta Airlines. It's the level of comfort. I'm tall, okay? I can't fly comfortably in Spirit Airlines, okay? And the experience, I don't know. The people are just not as nice at Spirit Airlines for some reason. But when I fly Delta, it's a whole experience, right? So here's what I'm saying to you. You got to figure out what your standards are for yourself and say, you know what? I'm going to do my absolute best in everything from this point on. And I didn't realize that until college. I want you to realize that much earlier than college. Here's when I realized it. When I got to college. 17 years old. It was 2007. Long time ago. I got to college, met this young girl. She was beautiful. Oh, it was like love at first sight. I said, excuse me, do you believe in love at first sight? She said, what? I said, look, watch this. You're my first sight, and I love you. I was just amazed at how beautiful she was. And then I figured out she was super smart too. She was on a scholarship program. It's called Bonner Scholars. meaning she had to keep her grades up really, really high. Otherwise, she would lose her scholarship and then would have to pay for school. Oh no, you don't want to do that. Now me, don't laugh. Okay? Don't laugh. I graduated high school with a 2.2 grade point average. I didn't even try. All C's and a C plus in everything but math. I had a C plus in math. Math was easy. Math is absolute. I love absolute things. I love things that are either right or wrong. All of that stuff in the middle, I don't know about it. But I didn't even try. And so she has this bright idea. She says, how about we share our grades with each other after every single semester so that we can hold each other accountable? We can be accountability partners. I said that would be great. First semester ends. I get my report card back. 2.2. I'm excited. I shouldn't be, but I am. Football season is over. Basketball season is coming in. I got a game on Saturday. Please make sure that you come. Game starts at 3:30. Make sure you bring your jersey and bring the sign. Steph Curry. Got it. I'm nervous though, because I'm thinking to myself, why would she want to talk to me if I only have a 2.2 grade point average? I said someone who's as beautiful and as smart as she is surely wouldn't want to talk to someone who's not as intellectual as she is. I'm nervous. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm shaking. I go to her room, her dorm room, and I get there, and y'all, she is crying her. Oh my God. I knew it. I said, oh my goodness. Now I don't feel so bad about my 2.2 grade point average because I'm like, whatever she got, it's got to be really bad because, I mean, she's crying and I'm not. I'm fine. Okay? And it's snot coming out of her nose and everything, guys. It's like real bad. So she asked me, she said, what did you get? I said, here you go. She looks at it. She goes, Jeff, what is this? I said, what do you mean? That's a 2.2. I'm eligible. Got a basketball game on Saturday. It starts at 3:30. Make sure you wear your jersey and bring the sign. Pump fake. She said, Jeff, this is terrible. I said, what? I said, well, you're crying. What did you get? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I had to hold it up to the light because I couldn't fathom. I've never seen this before. I said, this is a 3.9. Why are you crying? You got all A's and an A-. This is phenomenal. Why are you crying? What's happening? Are you okay? She said, I deserve the 4.0. I said, how you know? She said, because I did the work. I said, what does that mean? She said, I'm going to go back and I'm going to tell my teacher that I deserve a 4.0 and I'm going to show them the work that I put in. I said, good luck. I got a basketball game on Saturday, though. The game starts at 3:30. Please make sure that you wear the jersey and bring the sign. Pump fake. 3 days later, y'all, she came back with a 4.0 grade point average. You can clap for that. You can clap for that. You know the difference between me and her at that point in time in our lives? She had higher standards for herself than I had ever had in my entire life. Y'all, your absolute best is what you deserve from you. And I didn't understand it until I went and got my master's degree. I finished my master's degree with a 3.7 grade point average. I did better. I did better. But I did better because I raised my standards that I had for myself. And I want us to set a new standard because somebody has to be the first to create wealth in their families. I told myself that I wanted to be the first to create long-term generational wealth, right? And then here's where things start to get a little bit tricky. They invented this thing called social media, where everybody looks famous, where everybody looks successful, and you start comparing yourself to other people and what they have versus what you have, as opposed to appreciating the things that you have right in front of you. Y'all, even when I had one pair of shoes for the whole school year, I still appreciated it. You know why? Because I didn't have no shoes. I learned, it taught me how to take care of the one pair of shoes that I had. It taught me how to make good decisions. It taught me that I can't go out here and I can't play in the mud because I don't want to have to clean these shoes, right, to have to take them to school the next day. It taught me how to make decisions, y'all. And what I learned from this experience was that I couldn't compare myself to what I saw on social media. Just because I saw other people having certain things didn't mean that I had to have those things. So, here's what I did though. I made a goal for myself. And then after I made the goal for myself, I started to check in with myself because there were some things I had to overcome. And then after I checked in with myself, I realized that there was going to be some challenges that I was going to face. And after I realized there was going to be some challenges, I had to get the information to help me get the challenges. And then after that, I had to say to myself, I got to raise the standard that I've set for my life. And then finally, I went to a mentor of mine. Y'all. He was my football coach in college. He had seen me. In college, I was a full-time student, 2-sport athlete, and I worked 3 jobs to pay myself through school. I did almost everything under the sun in order to put myself through school because my family didn't have the ability to do it, and I didn't have the grace to be able to do it. If you all have the grace to be able to do it, great. I would encourage you to continue that. But I didn't have those things. I didn't have the luxury of having those things, so I had to work extremely hard. And my coach, he saw me work extremely hard. But when I went to my coach and I said, hey, I want to be a motivational speaker. Like, I really think I can do this motivational speaking thing. He said, don't think that that's going to pay your bills. He said, the only people you'll be able to talk to is at-risk youth. He said, I don't think people would listen to what you have to say. And y'all could have been very defeated. There's a lot of people that will tell you that you can't do certain things or you shouldn't do certain things. And the reason being is because a lot of times they try to place their fears on you, and they don't want you to be disappointed if it doesn't happen. But for me, I'd rather be disappointed if it doesn't happen. Because the only reason it won't happen is because of myself. It's because what I didn't do, or it's because of what I did. And literally for every single last one of you all, if you want to accomplish something in your life, it's literally all going to start with picking a destination for yourself. Okay? Any questions? I know that was long. Yes?
Right, to be a motivational speaker, don't you have to be like successful first, right?
No. Don't have to be. Could be. Works better if works out a little bit different if you are, but no, you don't have to be, because what grade are you in?
Me?
Mm-hmm. 9th? I would imagine you can go to elementary school and tell 6th graders how to do well in 6th grade, couldn't you? Right? I would imagine you can go to a middle school and talk to a bunch of 8th graders about what the 8th grade experience was like, couldn't you? Because you've been there, right?
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself successful?
No.
You successfully completed the 6th grade and the 8th grade though, but successful to people means different things. So you don't have to be, you can be, and the more you speak, the more successful you become. The more you speak, the more successful you become. I was just speaking over here, and I said the reason why I continue to speak as much as I do is because it forces me to grow. If I didn't speak as much as I do now, I wouldn't have to grow anymore because I'm already somewhat successful. But because I desire to continue to speak, I got to continue to read every single day. I gotta continue to work out every single day. I gotta continue to monitor my health every single day. I gotta continue to listen to podcasts, listen to interviews, read books. I gotta continue to do all of these things every single day so that I can continue to grow. That's how I'm gonna I gotta go back to school one more time and get my doctoral degree so I can get my $50,000 an hour. That's what he told me, okay? And any other questions? I like to say my life is an open book, so if you have questions, I encourage you to ask them. Yes, sir.
Where did you start your?
Where did I start speaking? I started speaking in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. It was at a GED program for people who were trying to get their GED. I did a 6-week program there called Secrets to Success. And I taught them about 6 things that changed my life. And I would help them prepare for their GED program. I did that for 2.5, almost 3 years, 6 weeks at a time. Yes.
What made you choose like what you wanted to do after high school?
What made me choose? So I didn't know. So here's the thing. If you don't know what you want to do after high school, find out what it is that you don't want to do, and then process of elimination, you can find out what it is that you want to do. So after high school, when I went into college, I went to college because I thought I was supposed to go to college. Like, this is what you were supposed to do. I was, my parents, this is what you're supposed to do. You got to go to college right now, right now, right now. If I would have had it my way, I probably would have taken a gap year to figure out and learn life and do that gap year with purpose and then go to school. But my first major in college was electrical engineering. I love technology, as you can tell. I will spend all of my money on technology, all of it. But me and science didn't have a great relationship. So I had to change my major to psychology. And once I changed my major to psychology, I got into the insurance business like I talked about. And in the insurance business, you work on flat commission, meaning if I don't sell you something, I don't get paid. So you got to sell every single day. And because of that, I started listening to motivational speakers because they would be saying positive things, they would be energizing me, they would be motivating me, and I would have to listen to them to stay inspired. Because when 80 people tell you no, whoo, that's a humbling experience. And then I started to say to myself, wait, I can do that. If I just learn how to got paid how much? What? And all he's doing is talking? I've been talking my whole life. This is phenomenal. This is a thing. And then after that 3rd year, somebody paid me my first $50 for 10 minutes. And I said, oh. Okay. All right. Let's see where we can take the rest of this. And then so it just continued to grow. And then I had to learn business. So you said you want to be an entrepreneur. I had to learn business. You learn business, teach you a couple of tricks, and then you get really, really good at it. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. I figured out what I didn't want to do. I was behind the grill at Bob Evans flipping pancakes and making scrambled eggs. Yes. Was I always good at public speaking, motivational speaking? No. Oh my goodness. No. Matter of fact, if you go on YouTube and you type in Backpack Jeff, you'll see me. All the way down, like my first videos, you can see. I was going to take them off, but I said I didn't want to take them off because I wanted people to see the progression of me. I was terrible. I used to talk really, really fast like this, and if you listen really closely, you probably hear what I'm saying, but I'm speaking fast, and I think that you're getting what I'm saying, but you're not really getting what I'm saying because it feels like if I talk really, really fast, I at least know what I'm talking about, but I really don't know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you gotta slow down so that people can hear the things that you're saying so they can actually digest what it is that you're saying. I used to really talk that fast. I was like, what in the world? I never really had a fear of speaking, I don't think, but just learning how to deliver a message, that was a challenge, but it took a lot of practice. I went to my mentors and they taught me how to speak. They taught me how to craft a message. They taught me how to build stories. They taught me how to put how to input messages, and then they taught me how to put different activities in those different messages. So not only can I speak, I can also give tangible things that people can do to help themselves. Yes, I'm gonna come back to you. Say it again. Did he make me pay $50,000 an hour? No. No. He paid, so when he would go to corporations and speak for corporations and universities, he would charge them $50,000 an hour, not me, because I didn't have 50 cents an hour. to pay at that point. No, there was a program that he had that I had to pay for a little bit. And then I listened, I read his books. I read every single last one of his books. He just came out with a new book a couple of months ago. Just got New York Times bestseller. I read every single last one of his books and learned every single lesson that I possibly could. I listened to every single last one of his speeches that he put up on YouTube, and I took everything that he said from those speeches and literally, he literally gave me step-by-step direction on how to do certain things and what to do, where to go, who to talk to. Step-by-step directions. I followed it to a T. I followed them directions to a T, and then all of a sudden, here's $1,000, Jeff. You're gonna pay me $1,000. Okay, sign here then. Sign here before you change your mind. And then when I first got it, I was like, oh my goodness, I never even thought. So no, he didn't charge me. He charged other places that. Yes.
How do you know like who the right person is
To be a mentor.
How do you know?
They're doing what you want to do extremely well. Anybody who's doing whatever it is that you want to do extremely well, you want to learn from those people. And here's the thing too about mentors. You don't necessarily have to have a mentor that you can call on the phone, that you can text message, that you can email, that you can DM. I got mentors that have never met me and I've never met them. They're my mentors. Why? Because I listen to their interviews. I listen to the stuff when they're teaching. I listen to their classes, right? I purchase their classes. I got mentors, again, that I've never met in life. But they still teach me things because I see they're doing what it is that I'm trying to do at an extremely high level. And if you want to be a doctor, when you go and do your residency, who are you going to be shadowing? Think about it. If you want to learn how to be a doctor, who are you going to learn how to be a doctor from? Your dad is a what? He's a doctor, right? So you got to learn how to be something from somebody who already is that something, and they're doing it extremely well. If you want to learn how to be an entrepreneur, if you want to learn whatever it is that you want to learn how to do, learn from people who are doing it extremely well. Anybody else? Other questions? Yes.
Sir, we talked about what you do for our community
Mm-hmm.
in Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware, right?
Yes.
Could you please share your experience so they can appreciate what they have? It's really a blessing to share your experience.
Yes. So 2 days a week, I go to juvenile detention centers all across Maryland, in Virginia, and DC starting in February, and in Delaware, I believe starting in April. And I go to these places because these young boys and young girls require second chances, and they're all young. They're all under the age of 18. And what I experienced there is a lack of desire, a lack of intention, and a lack of direction. And what happens a lot of times is one bad decision alters a person's whole entire life. One bad association alters a person's whole entire life. And now they're stuck in a room that's this big with a bed and a bathroom. And that's it. And a lot of their freedoms are taken away. They're told when they can eat. They're told when they can shower. They're told when they can go to the gym. They're told when they can play. They're told when they can play cards with each other. They're told and given direction every single day on when they can do certain things. Because when they work at a juvenile detention center, they made bad choices. Why did they make bad choices? Well, likely because they hung around bad people. Likely because they didn't have a target that they were trying to hit. It's difficult to hit a target that you can't see and that you don't have. Very difficult. And so I go in every single day to teach them life skills, to teach them things that you all are learning every single day from people who love you, from people who care about you, every single day. And when their parents visit on the weekends, they have to sit this far apart and they cannot touch each other. They have to sit this far apart and they cannot touch each other. You better not touch that person, and that person better not touch you. So it's truly it truly is a blessing to be able to have your freedoms. It truly, truly is. And the reason being is because each and every single last one of you still has the ability to make decisions on your own. One of the biggest things that I teach is critical thinking, because I don't believe there's a problem that is impossible to solve. And we're all in a problem, and it doesn't have to be something that is super elaborate, but you're always solving problems. Always solving problems. Me and my wife, babe, what you want to eat? I don't know, I don't care. Okay, let's go to Chipotle. I don't want that. You just said you didn't care. Okay, forget it. I'm just gonna go to Chick-fil-A. We had that yesterday. We have a problem now, right? So we got to figure out how to solve it. It may be a small problem, but we have to be really, really good at solving different problems. So that is what my life's calling is right now, is to go to different places and teach and give second chances and different opportunities. Yes?
Did you marry that girl from college?
I did not. I did not. No, she left me. Sadly. It's okay though. Still got married. That's a good question. You're like the second person who's ever asked me that. Anybody else? No? Okay. My motto, my life's motto. Yes. You have a question?
I don't want to interrupt you, but I have one more question.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You shared the experience with me about a young man who got out of detention center, and he called you like 5 months later and told you your motivational speaking or lesson impacting his life.
Yes.
Could you share that with us, please?
Yeah, sure. So I had a gentleman. He was at the Green Ridge Youth Detention Center that is way out in Cumberland, Maryland, probably about an hour and a half away from here. And he shared with me that the impact that I had on him, it gave him direction in terms of where it was that he needed to go, and it gave him advice on how to change his circle. Because his biggest fear wasn't that he wasn't going to be successful. His biggest fear was that the people around him would ultimately prevent him from being successful, because they would ask him to do certain things that he didn't want to do. So the thing that he needed to change about himself was his environment. So he worked on changing his environment, and then once he changed his environment, he's doing extremely well now. He's in our mentor program that I have for those students who are coming out of the juvenile detention center programs. So we're looking forward to continuing to grow with him and continuing to work with him throughout this process.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
What happens when you touch your family in juvenile center?
What happens when you,
Touch your family, like the other person you talk to?
oh, when you're in the juvenile detention center, they can get arrested. Yeah, they can get arrested. And then you would ultimately go to solitary confinement. Yep. Yeah, so don't touch it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you just mentioned it when I'm away, but I have a thought that what challenges really do these youngsters face at school, and maybe if you give them advice.
Yep. So what are some of the biggest challenges that I see young people facing at school right now? I think one of the a couple of them. I think number one of the challenges is trying to figure out why is school important other than because you're supposed to. And one of the things that I do for, so I have a 12-year-old and I have a 5-month-old. It'll be 5 months next week. My 12-year-old, I asked her, and I'll talk about this with the parents. I asked her, not what do you want to do, but who do you want to become? Because to me, who you are is more important than what you are. You can be extremely successful, but be a terrible person. So what I try to work on is who she wants to be and the impact that she wants to make. So when I go out, I teach students, I want them to create a person that they want to be, essentially an avatar. You got to create the person that you desire to be. It can be created, and it can be created here. Once you create the person that you desire to be, you can then reverse engineer a step-by-step plan on how to become that person. On how to become that person. So one of the things that I see a lot as well is a lack of direction. Once you figure out who it is that you desire to be, it's very easy for you to take steps in order to become that person. So I think lack of direction. I think social media has also played a really big part of it. And as cliche as it sounds, the easiest way to combat the social media bug is to always understand everything that you see on social media is probably not real. It's probably not real. It's literally a highlight reel of a person's life. Most times they won't show you the bad things that they're going through. They will only show you their vacations and them dunking the ball or them doing extremely well, them winning first place in something. They won't show you when they won third place the last 72 times. But that one time they won first place, look at me, y'all, I'm a superstar. So getting caught up in social media, lack of direction, and so what I do for lack of direction is I try to help them paint a picture of who it is that they want to become. Once you paint the picture, it's easy to begin drawing out that life. Yes.
If there is no someone to ask.
You're
So in my experience with some teams engagement, what they usually mention is that they are happy to go to school, they are interested with some subjects, of course some are not, but you have to add a comment. But with a specific subject where they are interested, but in the meantime, the projects, the assignments, the classwork, it's very high. I mean, if you ask me my background, when I was 12 or 11, I really have a playtime, at the same time, it's just balanced. But in this country, the more in their age and their responsibility, for me, it's not unbalanced. So how could they just be interested? Because at the same time, it puts them into stress and then,
Here's what made the biggest difference from my 2.2 grade point average to my 3.7 grade point average. I realized that school was not hard. I had to make school work for me. I had to learn how to study and I had to learn time management. And so that's what I would encourage for every single student. Learn how to study. You know what I realized? I can't study in my bed. You know why? I fall asleep. I even had a desk in my room. I can't study at my desk. You know why? I fall asleep. I learned that I had to study where there was people moving around and doing things, because to me it feels like if I'm here in this room and it's just me and I'm stuck, I feel like the world has stopped or I'm missing something because I know something is going on. I'm just not privy to it. So I would go to the library, I would go to Starbucks, I would go to Panera Bread, I would go to a coffee shop. I would go somewhere where I didn't have to talk to people, but I could at least see people doing this, because mentally, this is what I needed. Then I had to realize, well, everybody's also doing this. There comes the distraction. Well, I had to put on my music. I put on music, but then I find myself, I'm singing back with the words. And I say, well, this isn't going to work. I need something else. So how I study, I go to a coffee shop, library, somewhere where there's people doing this. I listen to jazz because it's music that blocks out everything else. And I don't have to worry about singing along with the song that's playing in my ear, and it keeps me awake. So figuring out how to study is one of the most efficient things in order to help young people to be better at school, and then time management. I also realized, don't ask me to do anything after 6 p.m. because it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. Yeah, can you read this book after 6? Nah, I will not. You know why? Because I'm an early morning person. I would rather go to bed at 7 p.m. and wake up at 3 p.m. and then read. But it took me until my senior year of college, undergraduate degree, to learn that. So they have to learn what works for them. Are you a morning person? There's nothing, listen, if my kid wants to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and study, I am completely fine with that because I realize I'm not a night person, especially if I'm in the house. Especially if I'm in the house. If I'm going to be a night person, I got to be out. I got to see people doing stuff because otherwise I feel like I'm missing something. So that's what I think. Anybody else before we wrap up? No? Yes.
Yeah, what's your experience like your wake up experience at 5 or usual experience?
My experience right now, I'm up right now at 4:30.
4:30?
I'm up at 4:30 right now because my 5-month-old, I have to get in me time before I have to get in daddy time. So that's when I read. I do my first workout at home, which is like a high intensity interval training workout in my basement. I have to read, and then I have to prepare myself my goals for the day. If I don't have goals for the day, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea. As an entrepreneur, because when you go to work, you know what you're supposed to do. As an entrepreneur, you have to create the work for you to do. So I'm up at like 4:30 right now. I got to get in my me time. I got to read. I have to get my workout in. I have to set my goal, and then I also have to set my content for the day. So social media, all 7 of those, I got to set that stuff for the day. And then once I do that, then I go and get him. Take out the dog. Then I go and I get him around 8 o'clock, and then his nanny comes at like 8:30. Yes.
What type of dog do you have?
Rottweiler. He is a 9-month-old Rottweiler. He's 118 pounds. He just got weighed yesterday. Yes.
What do you suggest for an easy first time management?
First time management. And managing what?
Well, just your own time. Like,
Managing your own time.
First time.
Make a schedule.
Do with time management.
Make a schedule. A lot of people think that making schedules is a bad thing, but making schedules helps to keep me honest about what it is that I'm supposed to do. I have scheduled, and we'll talk about this in the parents meeting too, but I have scheduled time to meet and play with my children. I have scheduled time. An hour and a half. You know why? Because you get my undivided attention for this time. I can play with you, but if I'm playing with you and I'm like, hold on real quick. Oh, that's good, right? I like, that's it. Show me again, I missed it. I'm there, but I'm not there. But when I for this hour and a half, it's me and you, baby. What you want to do? I'm completely focused. So making a schedule is like the easiest thing to do, and plan downtime in there too. Plan time to do nothing. I got to plan time to do it. My wife was just yelling at me before I came back up here. Man, you need to take a nap before you go. I said, I'm fine. Man, you've been running all day. You've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. You drove 2 hours. You spoke for 2 hours. You drove 2 hours back. Then you got to drive another hour back out there, speak for another 2 hours. Then you got to drive another hour back home. Then you're going to get home, and you got to do it all over again tomorrow. It's my schedule, baby. My schedule. So I got to plan time to do nothing. So schedule. That's the easiest way to time manage. Schedule. And plan time to do nothing. And I try not to work for longer than 2 hours at a time. So I'll work hard for 2 hours. I gotta have a 15-minute break. Got it? Because this thing right here, once it starts going, it just starts going. And then I gotta go outside and let me just take a walk and just look outside and just, this is beautiful. I gotta get all of that stuff out of there, and then I gotta go back to it. So I work in 2 hour increments. That's another thing that I would encourage you all, young people, study in like 1 hour increments. Study it for an hour, leave it alone for 15 minutes, and then go back and then see if you can recall what you studied. That's what helped me study. I saw one more hand back there. Yes.
I have 3 questions.
Okay.
Because I learned 3 things from you today.
Okay.
And from my previous conversation with you. The first one, entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. I hear and listen entrepreneurship from my people from back home who came here as adults. Mm-hmm. I don't hear it much from the youth. Mm-hmm. What I would like to see, what my ambition is, to see entrepreneurship starting their own business while they get educated in college. It doesn't prevent you from becoming an entrepreneur if you're a doctor, if you're an engineer. You still have your own.
And you're a doctor, you are an entrepreneur. You have to work for yourself.
That's right, but we work for someone else.
Right.
We work for a hospital,
Okay.
myself.
Mhm.
So, could you add a little bit of motivation on that so the youth can learn about entrepreneurship and working for themselves, keeping the profit for themselves?
Absolutely. So entrepreneurship is probably the scariest, best thing that you'll ever do in your life. It's the scariest, best thing that you'll ever do in your life. I compare entrepreneurship to skydiving. Skydiving. I went skydiving on my 28th birthday. I wanted two things on my 28th birthday. I wanted all you can eat crabs. Just take me to the place. Let me get 30 crabs and let me just eat them until I'm stuffed. And then I wanted to skydive. I wanted to jump out of an airplane, 15,000 feet in the air with a parachute. With a parachute this time. And it was not just me. I was strapped to somebody because if this thing didn't work out, it had to be somebody else's fault, not mine. On the other side of fear are the most beautiful things that you'll ever see in this world, and it's everything that you want in this life. When you become an entrepreneur, it's in the beginning, it's very, very tiring, but once you learn to figure out life, how to automate your systems and how to automate the things that you do, it makes life so much easier, because what happens then is you now get to take breaks. So even though I'm here, I have my system at home working for me, not someone. My system is at home sending 500 emails every single day. Every single day. It's sending. And then what happens is I get a response back. I got an email response yesterday. Someone asked me, hey, you got 30 minutes? I said, yeah, sure. How much are we talking? $2,500. I'll be there. What day? February the 9th. What time? 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I will be there. Hood College. I only have to speak for 30 minutes, $2,500. I learned how to automate my systems. As an entrepreneur, the thing that you have to figure out is you got to figure out what the next problem is. You're always figuring out the next problem. But the beautiful part about it is the smarter you get, the better you get at it, the easier it becomes to figure out the problems. And then once you figure out the problems, now I can work from anywhere. I don't have to be at home. I can be on an airplane, on Wi-Fi, in the air, still working, doing the same things that I would be doing when I was at home. So with entrepreneurship, you can literally create your own life, and you don't have to work for somebody else. You can literally create something so that not only you can benefit, but your family can then benefit from. That's my goal, is I want to bring in my younger brother, my older sister, my dad, and my mom, and literally create, you all eat Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Dan Hardy, right? You know Dan Hardy just sold Chick-fil-A to his son, right? Handed Chick-fil-A over to his son. And it was actually Dan Hardy's father's before it was Dan Hardy's. And they're literally owner after owner after owner is just gonna trickle down. And it will always be in that family.
Unless
Yeah.
one of them messes up, right?
Huh?
Unless one of them messes up.
I mean, not necessarily, because Dan Hardy's still alive. He can take back over the business at any time. Yes.
Do you recommend drop shipping?
Drop shipping, I drop ship. This is mine, and I use drop shipping for it. Yep. I use Printful. I use Printful, yes.
And also, with that, community service.
Mm-hmm.
Community service has to go hand in hand with entrepreneurship.
Yes.
You give service, I heard from you, you give
Uh-huh.
service for free,
Mm-hmm.
which is really pricey, but you give it for free.
Mhm.
Time away from your family.
Mm-hmm.
You're serving your community. And at the same time, you're doing business. So, community service, what do you say about that?
Reciprocity. What do you give back for what you give? Reciprocity. The reason that I want to be rich is not for me. It's not for me. If it were for me, it'd be selfish to be rich just for myself. The reason that I want to be rich is because I know there are certain people who have gifts and talents, and if they only had an opportunity, they would be able to take it, run with it, and they'd be able to take off. If they only had resources, they would take those resources and they would do something absolutely amazing with it. If they only had money, they wouldn't have certain struggles. You know, one of my favorite people in the world? Shaquille O'Neal. I think I met him like 5 years ago. I seen this giant, humongous man walk into this store in Florida, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's Shaq. You know why I love Shaq so much? Because he does something that I want to do all the time. He goes and he'll see someone in the store and he'll just say, hey, I want to pay for those things right there for you. Hey, let me get those shoes. Hey, let me pay for your groceries. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Imagine being so blessed that you can just bless anybody that you come into contact, into association with. Not even just monetary wise, but just with your presence, with your encouragement, with your words, with who you are. Imagine being that blessed. That's what my desire is. So reciprocity, what do you give back for what you get? You always, always, always have to give back. That's how you keep that cycle of good karma going. Anytime I go through the line, I love to play a game. I'll say, hey, pay for the person behind me and give me the receipt. I'll write on the receipt, pay for the person behind you, and I'll give it to them. And I'll see how many cars back it'll go before the person doesn't pay for the person behind me. So, super important. Anybody else? Yes.
We have heard stories from students and parents about teachers discriminating against students. So what would you advise students and parents to do in that situation?
Yes, so good question. So if a student is discriminated against, one of the things, what I would first recommend is you don't have to talk to the teacher. Teachers have bosses for a reason. Okay, principals, vice principals. Principals and vice principals have bosses for a reason. Executives, administrators, all of those different things. There's always an advocate, and you have to be able to find and recognize the advocate that's for you. So I would find an advocate, and then I would go and talk to that person, because clearly I don't need to be in this person's class anymore. Because you're here to teach me. You signed up for this. I didn't apply for this job for you. I didn't go through the interviews for you. You asked to be a teacher in this very specific classroom to teach this very specific subject at this very specific school. I don't know what you're upset at, but it can't be me. So I would seek advice, and I would just go above them. Anybody else?
What's your personal motto?
What's my personal motto?
Yeah, you were gonna say it right.
Winners write history, losers become a part of the story. But my personal motto is always stay in your bag, so you never have to chase a bag.
Come again?
Always stay in your bag, so you never have to chase a bag. No, not really. It's on my shirt. In my bag means operating in excellence, completely focused in your zone, executing at a high level. Executing at a high level. When you see somebody doing something amazing, sometimes we say, man, that person's in their bag. That means that person is doing something extremely well right now. So,
Is there any priority unnecessary?
no priority.
If always follow?
Yeah. Anybody else before we wrap up? Okay. Yes.
Did you mention your contact website?
Yes. Everything is Backpack Jeff. I am very easy to find. It's not Backpack Jack, and it's not Backpack Joe. It's Backpack Jeff. Okay. It's backpackjeff.com, Google, all of those good things. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, Fortnite, all of it. All of it. Catch me online. I'll be back home. I'll be online later today. That's how I unwind.
Any
Yes.
live sessions?
Yes. And you all can get this shirt at backpackjeff.com if you like it. So, yes.
Do you have any live sessions, like scheduled live sessions you do on social media?
Live sessions? No. So, everything that I pretty much do is through groups on Zoom. I should, but I don't. Only like right now, I just don't have the time to do it, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. All right, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for y'all time this evening. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
You are very welcome.